This lesson introduces the primary tools you'll use to manage Active Directory. The first is Active Directory users and computers, and these can all be launched from Server Manager, Tools, and they're available. Active Directory users and computers, as the name suggests, is the primary tool you can use to create users, to create computers, to set attributes on users and computers, manage group memberships, and also to create and manage organizational units. I can also, within this tool, handle delegation of authority. I can grant different people different levels of control over organizational units, which we're going to cover in a future lesson. I also have Active Directory sites and services. This tool is focused around defining those geographical locations you have and the IP subnets that make up those locations. This is what enables Active Directory's Inter-Site Topology Generator to work out the most efficient replication of Active Directory between all the locations you have. By default, all of the domain controllers within a single site create a ring of replication with never more than 3 hops, ensuring very fast replication of changes within a site. Between sites, you have site links, and those site links have configuration to say how often they replicate and the cost. I may have multiple paths between sites, and Active Directory uses the cost value you give to work out what's the most efficient means of replication. So this tool you'll use to create your sites, create your subnets, link the subnets to various sites, which allows Active Directory to work out that topology. Additionally, looking at the NTDS settings object on a domain controller enables you to configure if it is a global catalog or not. While you can configure this during the DC promo process, you can also go into here to enable or disable at a later time. Remembering you always need at least one global catalog in the Active Directory domain, and to be safe, you always want at least 2. Active Directory domains and trusts is used to manage trusts between different domains. So if this domain were a member of a tree or a forest with multiple domains, I would see automatic trusts created in here. But I can also manually create additional trusts. I can create a new trust. I can say where I want to make this trust to. So when I enter the name of this other forest or domain, it will actually try and do a scan and work out what that target is and suggest to me the best possible type of trust to create. So this is where I would use to actually manage those trusts. Again, if you only have one Active Directory forest, it's very unlikely you'll have to do any manual trust management. A new management tool introduced in Windows Server 2008 R2 and improved in Windows 2012 is the Active Directory Administrative Center. This tool gives an easy ability to quickly search for a user, to reset their passwords, unlock an account, but also enables some of the new functionality. For example, the ADAC exposes the recycle bin, so deleted objects, which was a feature enabled in Windows Server 2008 R2, enabling me to undelete a previously deleted object. I now have a graphical interface to remove those objects. I can manage fine-grained password policies, which enable me to have different lockout settings, password complexity requirements for different users based on their group membership. Without this feature, I actually have to have separate domains to set security policies. So the ADAC is something you're going to start to leverage more and more, and it also enables dynamic access control management, the ability to create those policies based on user attributes and the classifications of data to control that access. I've already demonstrated in some previous lessons the NTDS util command. This gives us a command line interface to directly query and interact with the Active Directory database. Another very useful command is ADSI edit. ADSI edit allows me to actually go and query the various partitions of Active Directory. You can see here, for example, I can look at the configuration partition. Remember, this partition is forest-wide. It's shared between all domains in a forest. For example, my sites are objects that are forest-wide. They are defined within this configuration partition. My Active Directory. All of my objects are available in here. I can go and access all the various attributes that actually make up all those various objects. I can actually go and look at a user and see all of their various properties. One nice change, however, in Windows 2012 Active Directory users and computers is the ability to actually have that attribute editor. So I can now see more of those attributes that were previously hidden to me from the tool. There are also various troubleshooting utilities. For example, I can check the replication status between my domain controllers with the repadmin show replication. And it's showing me all the replication of those various partitions has been successful. I can force a synchronization now. I have a DC Diag tool that gives me a general health check of my domain controller. Again, very useful. An Active Directory really contains two parts, the Active Directory database and sysvol. Sysvol is the file-based portion that's really primarily focused on maybe logon scripts and group policy objects. Using the DFS management tool, I can inspect the state of my sysvol replication. So again, a great tool to go and get an idea of the relative health and even run diagnostics reports to check that sysvol replication is performing correctly. Allow block content so it can actually run the dynamic nature of the view. And I can see there are no errors, no warnings, and just information about the replication status. This concludes the high-level overview of the primary Active Directory tools you will use.